chegou a novidade pro rolê. E aí, você já provou? Topo Chico, um divisor de águas, com gás, com álcool e aroma natural de fruta. Credo, que delícia. Pra você beber geladinho na beira da praia, da piscina, da banheira, Por que não? Difícil encontrar um rolê que não combine. Topo Chico, leve e refrescante em 90 calorias. E aí, topa?
Salve, salve, galera! BRMC Power Week está no ar. Nosso querido Sunset. Começamos hoje cedo com Morning Sessions. Já passamos aí agora é exatamente 5 horas e 30 minutos no horário de Brasília. E hoje temos, depois do Sunset, temos rodada dupla. Então, vocês se liguem, vão ter 2 painéis após, vai ter, se eu não me engano, um After Hours e mais algum que daqui a pouco eu lembro para vocês, tá bom? Então, teremos duas programações depois do Sunset, ok? Bem, com muito prazer que hoje a gente está aqui mais uma vez. Lembrar a galera que o Power Week foi feito totalmente com conteúdos bacanas que possam ajudar você e que possam se conectar principalmente com os temas relevantes que a gente está trazendo aqui durante essa semana toda de bate-papo e de muita troca de experiências, né? Queria mandar um abraço aí também para toda a galera que está desde segunda-feira com a gente, isso é muito importante, que está ajudando a promover, está ajudando a tocar o bonde aqui, está bem legal. E lembrar que hoje, em especial agora no Sunset, eu vou ter a companhia do meu grande amigo, também curador, o Beowulf. Pode chegar, Beowulf. Aí sim. Agora sim.
Opa.
Agora sim.
Tudo bem, galera? Todo mundo...
Tudo bom, filhão? E aí?
Ué.
Veja se você está conseguindo ver agora. Vê aí.
Deixa eu só entrar aqui, peraí.
Tá bom. Então, galera, é exatamente isso. João, o Beowulf vai estar comigo já aqui, então a gente vai começar esse bate-papo. Queria lembrar que o patrocínio do nosso querido BRMC Power Week é do Topo Chico, essa bebida muito legal que a gente está... Eu, pelo menos, estou adorando. Eu recebi vários e estou tomando todos. Super bacana. Valeu, Topo Chico, aí, pela moral que está dando para o BRMC. Vou até tomar um pouquinho agora aqui para a gente começar. Então, lembrando... voltou. João voltou agora.
Agora estou vendo tudo.
Então, vamos lá. João, hoje a gente tem aqui uma missão, né? Temos 2 convidados muito especiais, muito bacana. A gente vai falar muito sobre música, distribuição digital, produção musical, o momento que a gente está vivendo, como isso se relaciona dentro do nosso mercado, em especial o mercado da música eletrônica. E a gente tem 2 feras aqui, expertises, que são muito legais. Eu vou apresentar o primeiro e o João apresenta o segundo. O primeiro convidado, que a gente vai chamar aqui agora, é o Roland Leesker, que é um dos owners e fundadores também da Get Physical e agora está numa nova empreitada, que é a Get Digital, que é uma distribuidora focada, no primeiro momento, para Brasil e América Latina. Então, ele já é conhecido do BRMC, devo dizer isso. Ele é o The Famous Rolandinho, em Brasil. E é isso, ele vai começar agora, daqui a pouco ele vai estar falando com a gente e o João vai apresentar o nosso outro convidado. Pegou aí, João? Eu acho que o João falou.
Bom, galera, então, o nosso segundo convidado é o Scholing. Ele trabalhou na Armada, no A&R, fez também impulsionamento do... Vocês estão me ouvindo?
Yes.
Vocês estão me ouvindo?
Estamos ouvindo. Bem, eu vou
então,
falar sobre...
Ok, tá. Tá com algum delay forte aqui. Então, vou falar um pouco sobre o Rick. O Rick, ele trabalhou na Armada, na parte do A&R, e aí depois ele foi para Heldeep, onde ele trabalha lá como gerente de A&R, e também trabalha com artistas como Oliver Heldens, e também tem agora a We Artists, que é um serviço de promo que alcança alguns dos maiores DJs do mundo. Então, I'd like to welcome Rick, everybody, my brother Rick here to BRMC. He's never been in Brazil as Roland, but I think his day will arrive soon.
Let's hope soon, mate. Let's hope soon.
Yeah, Roland, maybe you can introduce yourself, huh?
Myself?
Yes.
Ok, eu sou Rolandinho, do Berlino. Eu sou muito prazer to be with you guys. And I'm a little bit not so prazer because I'm not in Brazil. But I mean, at least we've got the internet and we can join each other. So yeah, happy to be here.
Super nice. So guys, we are start the discussion about the challenges for the next 2 years. I think we have too many challenges to come, and maybe we can talk about this year. That's the possible to talk about the things positive during the pandemic for the music industry.
Who wants to start?
Yeah, you start.
Rick.
You can, yeah, maybe. Or you, whatever.
I mean, sure. The biggest positive thing, like, I've been thinking about this a lot because, there's so many things happening, but I think the biggest positive thing is people really find new ways to present themselves, partially because you have to, but also because, it opens, where lots of doors are closing right now, it opens some new options for people to find their way to their fans, especially artists and labels, by, for instance, being creative with the way they reach out to their fans, new ways of promoting music where they would normally choose traditional ways. So I think if there's ever one thing that's positive to talk about right now, I think it's people almost being forced to be creative again.
Roland.
I mean, it's a very good question. It's a question I could go on for many hours, but we don't have so much time. So I think what Rick said is super important. I made the same experience. I would say it was amazing to see how quickly streaming events, streaming music, or other kind of streaming exploded, and how many people were actually participating in this process, and how fast technology supported this demand for music and some kind of interaction. I was doing, what kind of sound is this? You got a dog there or something, or a cat? It's a strange sound. When I remember at Get Physical, one of the companies I'm a little bit involved with, we did something on YouTube we started about 5 or 6 years ago. We called it the Get Physical Sessions. It was from a little studio in our office. It was actually just a very small box with one DJ inside, and we recorded DJ sets. And actually, we stopped it about 2 years ago because the demand went down. At the beginning, we had like 100,000 of streams. We had acts like And Him and these guys, But then after a certain time, people got bored from it. I thought, okay, let's stop it. And then we moved the office, and somebody else moved inside, and they teared down this hole. We called it Glory Hole. They teared down the box. And then the pandemic started. I was like, no, fuck, I need the box again. And then it was like the second week after the lockdown, Defected came up with their first house or live session stream, and it exploded. It got millions of streams. And I was like, damn, if we would have had the box, it would have been us, the first ones, yeah. And I think it was important to be the first one. This first mover advantage was really important, because after a certain time, everybody started his stream. People were streaming from the toilet, from, I don't know from where, yeah, from the kitchen, from the fridge, whatever. And then I lost interest. But I think it was if you want to say what was positive, I think it was really amazing to see how quickly we were able to respond to this challenge with technology. Yeah. That was a good point, really. And I mean, we can be very happy that the internet is still kind of a free thing. It connected people. It helped me connect to my friends. It helped me to understand how important it is to see my friends in real life, because before I took it for granted. I was just flying around. This year I had a heavy plan to fly all over the world. I wanted to go to China, Tibet, Korea, of course to Brazil many times, and I couldn't go. And all of a sudden I started to realize in what kind of a dream paradise world we were living before. So if you want to say another positive thing was just to see how important it really is that you have friends and that you take care of them, and especially in these times. But yeah, that was a lesson for me.
I do agree with what you're saying, Roland, that people are really, changing the way they try to reach their fans, to still cater them to their music, and especially the live streaming, how quickly that got off the ground. It was very good to see that everyone kind of learned the best and new ways to live stream. And, at one point, sure, people have seen a lot of live streams, but I felt like even then there started a process where people became more creative, where you saw people doing live streams from the craziest locations, or like things mixed together. For example, we did a live stream with Oliver Heldens, where we had, I think, 7 different stages in 1 hour, and it was built around as if it was a musical. We would have never thought of that if we weren't in this position right now, and it really created a new way, to show yourself as an artist, even though it wasn't possible to have fans around there. And what you saw simultaneously was little companies. I'm not sure if that happened in Brazil or in Germany, but what we saw in the Netherlands was little companies acting on that, where people could literally order a box of food, and it would be served to them at the time the live stream began, and they would have beers and they would have food, like little boxes of actual food, during live streams. So people started finding new ways to keep the party going, and it was amazing to see. You would just tune into a live stream at 9 o'clock in the evening on a Friday, and there would be a box delivered with 12 beers for you and a couple of friends to enjoy. It's brilliant. So those things have really come out of people being forced to find new ways to reach other people, basically.
It's super nice, because I was thinking about this, and during your talking, I'm trying to get, and I have one question for you, for both. How to stay relevant with the content on this time, and stay connected to the audience, because this is a big challenge for the new artists. Stay connected to the audience, stay relevant, and the consistent content. How this is possible?
Yeah. I mean, how to stay relevant has nothing to do with the pandemic, I think. It's a question you have to ask yourself every day. I mean, when there was no streaming, when there was no internet, you had more time maybe to develop your artistic concept. Yeah, if you look at how the guys like Brian Eno or David Bowie, how they worked, they took so many days and days again, and weeks and years to work on one project, recorded one track, recorded the other one, thought about the artistic concept, thought about how to present it live. all these things, they they demand time, and it needs time to really work on what you really want to express. And in our electronic music world, you don't have that time. If you wanna be, taking, if you wanna be playing the game, so to say, you have to be on it, not on a day-to-day basis, but you have to stay relevant through permanent action. And there was this big discussion this year in the internet about what the guy from Spotify said, because he said, the album process, it's all irrelevant. You have to release music on a track-by-track basis every month, and so to say. And many people got angry at him, but I think they got more angry because they don't make so much money from Spotify, and all of a sudden all the other income sources just didn't work anymore because you couldn't DJ, you couldn't play live, and so on. But actually, the thing which he said is that you have to put out new music on a permanent basis, on a single track-by-track basis, in this new environment of streaming. And he's totally right. If you look at the numbers behind, an artist or yourself or other artists or other labels, you can see a permanent development. And if you don't release any new music after, let's say, a month, your followers go down and they follow somebody else. So if you want to, stay relevant, you have to try to increase your followers on a permanent level. And you can only do this in releasing new music and releasing other new content. Yeah. But the content you would like to release is your own question. It depends on what you want to do and what you want to express. Some people don't have enough ideas. Others depend on ghost producers. But others just, do it and don't think about it. And I think that was interesting to see this year as well, that a lot of new producers, but also not a lot of new other guys came up, and all of a sudden they had a chance to be seen. Yeah. Before, end of 2019, if you would have looked at lineups, I think I heard this in the panel with Dave Clark already, the beginning panel of the BRMC. You had all the same kind of lineups on all the big festivals. Yeah, Ultra Music Festival, Tomorrowland, everybody was booking the same 20 to 30 headliners all over the world, which was obviously nice for these guys. And I mean, there are reasons why it works like this, because they pull in and they sell tickets and so on. But I could really I was a little bit desperate 2 years ago, because I thought, hey man, how can we make it possible to show new talent to the scene, to give them a chance? Nobody got a chance anymore to play at a club, which is important to play at, let's say in Berlin, for example. It was already like a mafia kind of circle. And through the pandemic, although it had many, many bad negative consequences, and I'm feeling very sorry for all the people who are suffering from it, but the advantage of it is something broke up and it gave place to a new development. Yeah, here in Berlin, for example, in the summertime, there were many so-called Corona parties, and they were organized outside of Berlin. They were in woods in Brandenburg, in lost castles or whatever. And a new generation of organizers started to making, business. They started to organize it in the way how the raves were organized in England in the 90s, on secret Telegram chats and so on. People were hiding the location. They found their ways. As a community, they put all the money into buy drinks and whatever they wanted to consume. And they did a party. They just got a sound system and started it, And of course, the standard club owner who invested so much money, who employs people, who pays taxes and all this shit, yeah, they were really frustrated. And it's right to be frustrated if you invested all this money and time and energy in a business. On the other hand, there is something new coming. And this is, I think, one of the positive developments again.
I think I partially agree with you, Roland, on a few things, especially of the releasing music. I do feel like artists have really started to panic a little bit. It depends on the artist, but most of them have started to panic to the point where whenever I'm talking to someone about releasing a track, let's say in a few months, the first question I already get before the contracts, for instance, are even arranged is, what's going to be the release date? Because I will have a new track in 4 weeks after that. And then 4 weeks after that, I have a new remix and so on. We had an artist who was releasing new music every 4 to 5 weeks throughout 2020. And although that's understandable from an artist's perspective, because right now you maybe want to build up catalog a bit more, especially if you have your listeners. From a label point of view, it's killing because, for instance, radio and streaming, it's really starting to lift off the ground after 5, 6, 7 weeks. And you need the time to build a hit, especially if you want to be there as an artist and, so to say, like showcase your music to the world. It needs time to breathe. And you can see that the ones who are giving it a lot of time, take as an example, Lost Frequencies. I've worked with him a lot. He releases music once every so many months. And what happens is it gets time to breathe, gets the airplay around the world, gets streaming on board, and starts to develop into records that hit 30, 40, 50, 60 million streams. But another artist who releases a track right now and releases a new track in 2 weeks' time would kill off kind of all of the chances that previous track had, because the focus is shifting. So what you can see right now is, because there's no clubs, people are not touring, DJs are producing music like crazy. Like some DJs who would send us 2 to 3 demos in half a year would now send us 10 in half a year, because they have time to produce. So, give your music some time to breathe and give your music some time to develop. I think that's maybe what's a bit underrated right now and underestimated, maybe.
John, you are okay now with connection? No,
I'm not sure. I can hear you guys, but I think you have a big delay on my voice. But I can understand everything you're saying.
It's okay now.
Okay, cool.
If you have a question for the guys,
Okay, I have a question for both of you. What do you think changed lately on the tracks you received from the DJs? I mean, did you receive a lot of different stuff, or it was like regular stuff, or now the artists are a bit more open-minded and bringing in new experiments and new sounds? Or you think, like, because in my point of view, it's hard to get a club track working right now because there's no dance floor, so DJs are like kind of pushing forward their Spotify radio tracks and are kind of keeping and holding the dance club tracks for when the pandemic ends and the dance floors come back. So do you think you received a lot of different music from your regular artists or not?
So what traditionally kind of happens is, whenever someone scores a big hit around the world, like Medusa or Joel Corey, you'll see a lot of copying kind of that sound and trying to start into getting into a moment where it's hot. Though those demos always traditionally have been there, but as I said a few minutes ago, there's much more of that. And I do feel like the ones that I get sent now frequently, and I'm not sure if that's the same with you, Roland, but they tend to be of a higher standard because people have more time to produce, more time to figure out things, watch videos on YouTube, and
the quality is getting better.
Yeah, the quality really is better. And you're right in saying that club tracks have a difficult time right now because there is no festivals, there's no clubs open. But as I said in the beginning, I feel like people are getting more creative. So what you will see is people with club music now try and focus to people who do workout videos or do lots in gaming and try to branch out a little bit, because club music really works well in the gym. So you see that a lot of these people that were traditionally only really starting to be discovered at clubs and festivals now also find new audiences in people who go to the gym, people who go for their runs, people who like gaming, and things like that. A good playlist I found a lot of music in, for instance, is the Night Driver playlist on Spotify, where you can just zone out for a little bit with more more in Roland's corner kind of music than mine. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of new ways to find artists, especially in the club scene right now. And we had a club record taking off recently, and it's like even though there's no club scene, people will still find your music. And sure, there will be less people tuning in during the week, but on Fridays and Saturdays, I can literally see more people listening to club music than expected, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Is you.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's always the same target. We always want to find the best quality in the kind of genres we are interested in. And what I recognized is we got more submissions via Bandcamp. And some of them were really very interesting, indeed. And also some people I'm working with, some of our A&Rs from all over the world, they were like, hey, can we do some drum and bass or stuff like that? Because they just refound their love for the music they came from, let's say, but they didn't even think about it anymore because they were just focusing on the next gig of the next weekend. The focus back on record collections, the focus back on the studio, to really have time to listen through what inspires you. And I think that is something we will see and can already recognize in the quality of the music which is being produced and released in the next 24 months. And I think that's one of the learnings as well. If you do not have the possibility to promote yourself as an artist via live gigs, then if you're a music artist, the only thing you really can do is to produce music if you take it seriously. I mean, of course, you can do videos of yourself dancing on your toilet, and this might interest some people, but it has no artistic value in itself, in my opinion. So after a certain time, we will see those people doing these funny videos. They will always have their fans, but then there will also be a lot of other real artists which can be maybe heard again and which get a better, let's say, attention again when we don't look at the next weekend only. Yeah. And I mean, some of our artists, I don't want to mention the names here because it has not been released yet, but some of the really big artists we are working with since the beginning of their career, even they ask me, hey, can I remix this and that artist? We just released, for example, an artist on our new label, Sailor and I. It's on Metaphysical, and he's a singer-songwriter from Sweden. And I got remix requests from artists asking me for the parts of this project because they love the vocals. They were like, man, I really want to work with vocals again, with melodies again. And actually, I didn't ask them anymore because I was like, I will get the same answer like for the last 5 times, man, we are too busy. And all of a sudden, this all changed because the people do have more time to focus back on what's the core of our business, which is music. And, so I think, the quality can increase if we all take care of it and if we keep on pushing for the quality. This is some kind of the job of my team and of my partner, Philip Jung, who's turning 50 years today, actually. Happy birthday, Philip. And, that's our job. That's what we are there for. I mean, we are not the guys who are able to give you a gig, but we can, try to increase the quality and to help you to find new ways and also to encourage. Yesterday, I got a request from a guy from the States. He's always sending me demos. I still don't like them because they are good, but they are average compared to what is really successful in this melodic house and techno genre, for example. And I don't want to be a liar. I'm just telling him, hey, that's not good enough. Go back again. And he's very thankful for it. And he's like, man, anything you can recommend to me? And I was like, yeah, enjoy making music. And he was like, I love you, man. Actually, it's very simple. You have to enjoy making music and don't think about, oh, I have to produce it like this because this will work in this genre, and then I will get into the top 10 of the tech house, and then I will get more bookings. And that's how the people thought, yeah. And also the managers, they were like, okay,
It kills you.
yeah, one release on Get Physical, the next one should be on Crossdown Rebels, and then one more maybe on All Day I Dream, and then the guy will get all the bookings. Yeah, I understand this, but me as a record label owner, it pisses me off because we invest money, we invest a lot of money, even if you don't see it, and usually from 100 tunes, maybe one is a little bit more successful, which brings in enough money to finance this business. Yeah. And, I mean, there can be a big discussion about this, and I don't want to justify anything. We're all doing mistakes. But this was kind of the business before the pandemic. And, Philip and me, we said, okay, if they want to do it like this, let them do it like this, because we cannot change it. But I know for sure from Simon, from the fact that he had the same issue. And this label hopping thing was definitely just coming from the fact that they were all getting a lot.
22 Uhr.
Sorry, that's my computer. A lot of money. They were getting a lot of money from live gigs, and I don't blame them for that. But that's the interesting feedback of the problem at the moment, that the
real world, my friend.
Will have more genres again.
Well, let me tell you, it's in my opinion a fantastic story about a DJ. At the beginning of this year. Roland will definitely know this guy, maybe you guys as well, but we did a track from Kai Tresit at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, not Kai Tresit. He's from Darmstadt, near Frankfurt.
Yeah, he lives in Frankfurt now. So what happened was Kai Tresit, for the guys who don't know it and are watching right now, Kai hasn't released music for 25 years. Yeah. And he decided to make a comeback this year. And in February, when the Corona pandemic was still evolving, very small, but it was evolving.
Oh.
So Kai did a track with one of our DJs called Mogwai, and it was a club record, a techno record called DT64, which is a kind of referring to Mayday Festival and the DT64 radio station in Berlin. Mm-hmm. So there was a story around the record, but keep in mind, Kai hasn't released any music in 25 years. He had no Instagram. He had Facebook with a lot of fans, but he wasn't really active. He did some gigs still, but he did it for fun. So he decided, I'm going to release a new track for the first time in 25 years. So we released DT64 on the 14th of February. A month later, all clubs were closed, literally everything, and it was his comeback. So talking about a club techno record to start hyping, what happened was all of his fans were missing him because he wasn't releasing anything, but this was his first new track, so everyone jumped on. Also kind of because his status, I guess, from back in the days, but Kai did it because that's the most important thing. He did it because he had fun producing music again. He had fun being in the studio. It didn't matter to him to score a big hit. He was there again. And during a pandemic, he released 2 or 3 more tracks, got multiple #1 techno tracks on Beatport. And I'm sure that whenever clubs go back, that he will be one of the first, back in line, even though he just does it for fun. And that's the bottom line here.
But that's the most important part, man. It's all about the fun. When we started dancing, in the clubs, I didn't think about what they were playing there or whatever. It was just about the energy, and the music made you make new friends. Yeah.
But talking about profiling, talking about getting your name out there, it really goes to show it doesn't matter as long as your music is good and you had fun in the studio. You want to hear people who are listening want to hear that you had fun. Basically, they want to experience fun things. They want to stay interested.
Or that you are very depressed. This can create very good music as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about emotions and to channel the emotions, not about thinking in strategic steps. Of course, if you combine that, then you have the chance for a big career. Yeah.
Guys, talking about a story. Sorry, I saw a story last night.
I would like to jump a little because we have a short time for talk.
Oh, that's true.
I have one question for you guys. It's super nice because it's like to talk to this right now about the new labels. Here in Brazil, it's the movement of the new producers is start to your own label. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a super nice movement, and I think it's. I never seen this before here, but there is a main producer start your one label. I would like to know to both what it's important for to start to the new labels because we have a long way to come, but I think it's possible to have a success, to have a result, and in the future, of course. But what do you think about this to the new labels? And you can suggest to the new producers open to their own labels.
Shall I start?
Sure.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm thinking about this all the time because we just started our new company, Get Digital, where we are supporting this movement with our knowledge. And of course, there are many technical things you have to know, and you have to be willing to learn all the time. But this is something you can learn if you're like interested enough and if you know the right people to ask. But I think what makes the difference is if you really want to, again, like it's almost the same like how you want to position yourself as an artist. Do you really have something you want to express? Do you really have a community of people around you where it makes a difference that you release the music in the way you do it? You know, when Get Physical was started 18 years ago, the reason was it was 6 guys who produced music which nobody else wanted to release. So they started their own movement and they did it in the way they wanted to do it. They made many mistakes on the way. They earned 1 million, but they spent 2 million. And the main question is, what do you want to express? If you say I just make another label, you have to be aware of the fact that there is a very big competition. If we talk about dance music, we have about 30,000 new single track releases every week. That's more than 1.2 million track releases per year only on this platform. So the competition is like a big sea, you know, and if you start a new label, you are like a very little fish. But if you bring in your fans, if you bring in your community, and if you are, you know, strong enough and willing enough to believe in it and go the long way, you can be very successful. What I also see is people start their own label, but then they have a track which might be a little bit more successful. Again, they sign it away to another label instead of doing it on their own label, which is a big mistake in my opinion, because if you want to do it your own label, you have to put the best tracks you do, if you are an artist and label guy at the same moment, on your own label to show everybody that you believe in your own label. And that's something I think which is very important. I don't know the exact Brazilian word for this. In English, I would say consistency is important. And
Consistência.
Yeah, that's it. And let's say, look at Albuquerque from Brazil, for example. He already built up a very nice fan base. He's producing amazing music. He's got a lot of good people around him. It's like a community. And now he started his own label, Sonido Profundo. And the first record he's putting out since last week is already going into the melodic house and techno charts, like this. And the reason is it's high quality music in the genre he likes. It's a very good artwork, and he's reaching his fans, and they support him. Yeah, and that's a combination that you know how to engage on a social media level, of course, as well, and to put this all into one thing and then focus your energy on it. Yeah, everything else is technology, and you have to be aware that you must spend money on it. Not as much as we did when we started, because pressing a vinyl is a lot more expensive than releasing a digital tune. But yeah, that's it in my opinion.
I think to add to that, it's really important to celebrate every success. So even though it might be very small, if you're a big artist, but you have a starting label and you get one of your records played on local or national radio stations, celebrate that. Make sure that you're happy with the success you're achieving.
Good point. Really good point.
Yeah, good point.
and talk about it.
Even if it's just 20 of your family members.
All your friends know about it also.
Yeah, no, that's a super good point. I mean, the former boss of my partner, he always said it's the energy around the record, which you can feel. And sometimes you can feel it from the beginning. Everything is positive, and there's this kind of positive energy of everybody who hears the record or knows the people around it. And if you are able to channel this kind of energy into the product, into your label profile, people can feel the difference. I don't know how it works, but it still works. And I also have many negative examples where the record itself is amazing. It's a beautiful tune, but maybe some of the contributors all of a sudden starts a trouble about, I want to get paid more than the other one, or my name shall be the first one, and this shit, and it can really kill a good tune. So it's about this positive vibrations around it, yeah.
So what happens to us as well, and I'm sure Roland will know this as well, sometimes you have this record you believe in and you feel like it's going to be amazing, but then it doesn't start. It doesn't come off the ground. Then what do you do? A lot of people get frustrated or neglect the record whatsoever. Keep your faith in the music. Keep your faith in the track. Even if it's very small, it's a stepping stone to the next point you will achieve someday. Yeah. And we've seen records that were released 2 years ago who still, managed to find a way there and became big hits. Like,
totally agree. This one, for example, can you see it?
Yeah.
Hey there, Delilah.
Yeah, I got a gold record for it when I was working at Virgin Music, and it was not done by the A&R manager from the company or the international A&R. It was one of the radio promoters, a girl working in the radio team. She heard the record. It was signed internationally, and she heard it in the internal system, and nobody cared about this record, and she just decided to press some promotion CDs herself, and she put a nice handwritten note on it and like some leaves because it was promoted in autumn time, and then she sent it to the most important radio decision makers in Germany, and they started putting it on the program, and it started to grow. And it started in the, very, very back in the top 500 airplay charts, moved up. And it, step by step. And then she played it to everybody in the team. And they were like, hey, I really like this song. And she didn't give up, And it developed from nowhere to the top 100 airplay charts. Then we started pressing CDs, putting it out in Germany, pushing it. And all of a sudden, the whole team was fighting for it. And that's a perfect example. And it took a very long time to get to the number one. At the end of the day, it made the number one position because there was a TV show on Pro7, which is a big channel in Germany, where a young guy, beautiful young guy, just took his guitar and played a cover version of it. And the next day, everybody in Germany knew the song, and then it turned into this big hit, And but if you would have asked like the A&R guys in our company and everybody else, everybody would have said, no, this record flopped. Let's move to the next one.
I was involved with a track called Buddy from Loud Luxury 3 years ago. And that took us more than a year to get it up and running. It started very small. No one knew the act. And after a year, it was on 500 million streams on Spotify, getting airplay worldwide. And I remember, I was a radio plugger in the Netherlands back then. Yeah. And what happened was I went to the big stations out here, 538, Q Music, Slam, week in, week out, telling them this is a big hit. This is going to be amazing. Even to the point that we had after parties at events. And I was talking to the music director, still saying, you need to put this record on to the radio station. After 30 or so weeks, first small stations in the Netherlands started playing the record. It started developing, and then you saw the international airplay coming from the BBC, from Evolution in the US, from all the other stations. And eventually, after 50 weeks, the big stations in the Netherlands started playing it. And I remember when I was at the office, and this also comes down to celebrate every success. When I was at the office, and we used to get a phone call as a radio plugger from the music directors at a station whenever you had a power play.
Yeah.
So they were calling me, and I answered the phone, and they were like, "Yeah, I have to congratulate you. Buddy just became the power play for next week." And I remember we celebrated a couple of power plays throughout the years, but this one, it blew the roof off of the building. Everyone was celebrating. Bottles of champagne went through the office. It was the craziest thing you can imagine. And it's because you've been working on it so long and so long. It's still keeping the faith. And when it all comes together, that's the moment where you really have to sit down, be proud of what you achieved, and literally, experience that moment of luck and success, and really be happy with that.
Yeah. So you have to be like a boxer. Huh? You have to be patient, work hard every day, never stop, never give up. Even if you're like bleeding and you can't see anymore, don't stop fighting.
As long as you believe in the record, there will be plenty of people watching that have those small labels, and they will receive knockout after knockout. But there will be a moment that you will be there in the ring and you will be the one winning. And you just have to keep the faith in that.
Yeah, João, did you hear me? No. So, guys, I will fall into the conversation. So, what you could highlight for us to learn in this year? What the experience you bring for this year with you guys? Because I think you learn something during this pandemic, and you can talk to us about that.
Maybe Rick wants to go ahead. For me, the experience is just never take anything for granted. Everything can change in 1 second.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's very quickly.
I mean, I guess what you can say is you're probably way more creative than you're expecting. You'll see that once you get set under pressure, whether that's with a pandemic or anything else going in your life, you'll always find a creative way to get out of it and to find new open doors.
Yeah, super. So I think it's gone. It's fall down. So guys,
the internet is still not strong enough.
yeah,
He's in the bar, so he's probably
yeah. I have one question here for you guys. The consumer of the music in 2020, it's a different, yeah. Of course, because of the pandemic and the many things will bring to come to this moment. So, how can I say about the future, and especially for the consumer of the digital music, because there is a different way, different plan. But I would like to know about your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to consuming music, there are two things in my brain. One is like how I do it as a person, myself, as a music lover. And then I look into the numbers, which I can receive from my distribution teams and from my, all the systems we're working with, like Chartmetric, for example. It's an amazing tool. And there you can pretty nicely see how people are consuming music. First of all, I'm really always, every day, I'm really happy and blessed that I'm working with music. I started working with music like, I don't know, when I was 15 or 16 years old, and that's more than 30 years ago now. And the thing is, I think good music, as Rick already said, always finds its way. And I'm not concerned about this at all. But the thing is, if you look at how our business was built so far, we definitely have to make many changes and get better and have to learn a lot more from it. I mean, I'm happy that there is an institution like GEMA in Germany, the Mechanical Rights Society, to collect music from Airplay, or the PPL, the GVL, because in these times they were really supporting many of artists with monies. And some years ago, everybody was bad talking about them. But at the moment, actually the only income you can see is coming from music play, from music consumption. But the ecosystem is still fragile. If you look at big hits like Rick is promoting, or we are trying to promote sometimes as well, I have a record which now has 1 million of streams, which was number one at Beatport for 2 weeks. And it certainly would have had 5 million streams by now if there would have been festival airplays and people Shazamming the music. People Shazamming music. The Shazam goes back to Spotify or Tidal or whatever, and this proactive search for a song is pushing the algorithms. So at the moment, this push is not coming into the algorithm, so the music is not pushed as much as it could have been into the systems, which are not managed by human beings anymore, but by algorithms, as we all do know. And that's something I cannot change it, but it's something we really have to think about. It's about how much respect do we actually give music and how much time do we give it in our daily lives, Do we just use it as something, in our phone just for a few seconds, or to get super drunk to and to learn to know a new girl in a club? Or is it something we can use to, increase our life? And that's something I was doing all the time this year. I looked into my record collection. I selected the tunes. I looked into my 7-inch collection. I ordered new records. I found out so much more about music. For just one example, Carl Craig did a record, Paperclip People Throw, and I never listened to it. But now I found out, hey, the guy sampled from an old disco classic. So I got the disco classic on Discogs and put it into my collection. And I think that's something we as people who are promoting music should, really try to put into the consumers' mindset again, that it's really something not like to throw away, but something which is really important for our lives. And I don't have an answer how to do this, but I would definitely like to promote more quality and to push real artists and not look into the next thing which makes like the next top 10 hit. Of course, it's necessary to finance the business and to pay the people, but I think it's up to us to look for more quality and to be more, let's say, not decide on numbers, but just decide on what we really like and put out crazy things and push art, which nobody likes, and things like that again. And that's something, maybe, I don't know if this is a good answer, but for me, that's a personal challenge for next year.
Yeah, and you, Rick?
I do agree with what Roland says. I think it's important to definitely bring the stories back to the fans, as in, every track that's getting released always has a story, whether it's very small, very big, and especially the ones that are meaningful, the ones that stick around for the ages. Those stories need to be told, and it's basically up to Roland and to me to tell those stories together with the artists. And it's something you see that's underestimated a lot because of algorithms, because of money, because of all the other things. But I think it's the most important thing that gets overseen a lot. And it's up to us and to radio and to new things like podcasts and to Netflix and to whatsoever to tell those stories behind the music. I think that's really important and deserves a lot more attention than it probably has at the moment.
I totally agree.
Yeah, Roland, there is a super experience this year with Noah's Gate here. That's about quality,
Yeah, I mean, the guys, they start from zero. Huh? They have 0 followers on the social media, but they produced an amazing Brazilian disco funk album. And the moment you hear it, Rick, we should send it to you after this conversation.
Oh, please do.
It's so much fun, man. Even if you don't understand Portuguese, you will love it. And it's something we just said we have to release it. And we came up through Paulinha, a super nice artwork designer with an amazing artwork as well. And then the guys did the video in Rio representing the positive lifestyle of Brazil, to get something like a positive mindset back again. And now we see, okay, we released one single, the next single, and now all of a sudden we see, oh, people are getting it, people are understanding it. Richard Dorfmeister is saying it's amazing. The BBC One guys are playing it. Apple Music Brazil is putting it on a playlist, and the only ones who are still not doing it are Spotify, because it's too computer driven, this program. But Leo and me and everybody behind it just loves it so much. We don't stop working for it. We don't give a fuck. We just go on. And I might even produce a vinyl LP, Leo. I didn't tell you yet.
Oh, please do, because I actually started. I started collecting vinyl again in this lockdown. So.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah. Roland, take your vinyls together. You can make a party together, huh?
Yes. No,
Together,
you know, one of the best stories I'm able to tell right now is through my company We Artists, where I promote music. I had the luck and the fortune to promote one white label vinyl once. So I have a vinyl white label, only a title, as in the old days, no artists, no labels whatsoever. And I had to physically promote it towards other DJs. And it's the best story I can tell on birthday parties. So to show the vinyl itself, without any text, and that's the old school way of promoting music. And
of course, man. Yeah,
that's a story. That's a story, and I love it. So yeah, it's time to bring back the stories behind music, I guess.
That's a very good expression, Rick. I thank you very much. I couldn't find the words, and you said it. Thank you, man. That's my motto for this year.
I have a question for you, for Boof. On the screen, can you check?
Look, I wrote it down.
Yeah, Flavio Menezes. Did you see
the top 3 suggestions of the week?
Say what?
What are you listening to the last few days? Top 3 personal suggestions of the week.
Okay, Rick, go ahead.
So I actually started playing guitar a bit more, and I was trying to play one of the tracks by the X's, the XX. It's called Crystallized, which is one of my favorite tracks. It's very good.
Very good.
I also really enjoy very, very old music from acts like Creedence Clearwater Revival, again from like the 60s. So maybe one of their tracks. And is it okay to promote a new track that's coming out? No, because this Friday, speaking of this Friday, we will have a new track from Oliver Heldens with Shungutso, who is an amazing Zimbabwean singer. And the track is called Freedom for My People. And without giving away too much, it's something different from Oliver with a lot more energy and feel into it. And it's, especially in these current times, it's very relevant. So that will come this Friday. But obviously, since I already have it, I've been listening to it nonstop.
Yeah.
Can you sing it to us?
Can you, Rondio, can you talk now?
Yeah, here are my 3 selections.
Krafta, very nice.
Super nice.
Der Telefonanruf. Orange Juice Jones, The Rain.
Super nice, huh?
Amazing artwork as well.
The classical vinyl.
And Rocket by Herbie Hancock.
So nice.
I did this podcast DJ show for Fatnotronics radio show just like 2 days ago. It's online now on Veneno Radio.
Veneno Radio.
Yeah, that's why I have all these classics here.
Yes.
You can listen to it.
So, guys, I need to finish the conversation. I would like to continue to talk because it's a super nice conversation. Easily, many thanks for participating for the BRMC Power Week. And feel free.
Hello. Let's invite Rick and me for the next real BRMC, huh?
Yes, to play together, huh?
Yeah, man, we play together.
Screen along as well.
Feel free to send your messages for the audience. I would like to say everybody here with us. So feel free to talk. 1 minute.
Roland, I'm gonna leave it to you first. This way.
Valeu, amigos. Stay strong, and I hope we will see each other in real life again.
I would say stay positive, stay strong, believe in yourself. That's what my father-in-law always says. And let's hope we can all drink beers and party again very, very soon.
Yeah.
Exatamente.
Guys, many thanks again. Galera, queria pedir obrigado a todo mundo, agradecer ao nosso patrocinador. Rolandinho, can you repeat with me? Topo Chico?
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
Yes.
Eu preciso de Topo Chico, por favor.
Topo Chico, yeah. Queria agradecer ao Topo Chico, bebida maravilhosa que está com a gente aqui no Power Week. Queria agradecer a todo mundo e dizer que o Power Week continua, vai hoje com mais 2 edições, então todo mundo conectado aqui nos canais do BRMC. É isso. Valeu. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, Tarek.
Chegou a novidade pro rolê. E aí, você já provou? Topo Chico, um divisor de águas, com gás, com álcool e aroma natural de fruta. Credo, que delícia. Pra você beber geladinho na beira da praia, da piscina, da banheira, Por que não? Difícil encontrar um rolê que não combine. Topo Chico, leve e refrescante em 90 calorias. E aí, topa? Chegou a novidade pro rolê. E aí, você já provou? Topo Chico, um divisor de águas, com gás, com álcool e aroma natural de fruta. Credo, que delícia. Pra você beber geladinho na beira da praia, da piscina, da banheira, Por que não? Difícil encontrar um rolê que não combine. Topo Chico, leve e refrescante em 90 calorias. E aí, topa? Chegou a novidade pro rolê. E aí, já provou? Topa o Chico, um divisor de águas, com gás, com álcool e aroma natural de fruta. Credo, que delícia! Pra você beber geladinho na beira da praia, da piscina, da banheira, por que não? Difícil encontrar um rolê que não combine. Topa o Chico, leve e refrescante em 90 calorias. E aí, topa? Chegou a novidade pro rolê. E aí, já provou? Topa o Chico, um divisor de águas, com gás, com álcool e aroma natural de fruta. Credo, que delícia! Pra você beber geladinho na beira da praia, da piscina, da banheira, por que não? Difícil encontrar um rolê que não combine. Topa o Chico, leve e refrescante em 90 calorias. E aí, topa?